Come on, come through.
So I see it says now stream me live on Facebook.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Great news, everybody. So good evening. If you're seeing me, how you doing? How you doing? We're about to get going. This is our Project 5000 campaign. Looks like we are. Absolutely. Perfect. 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 So again, it should be appearing various places. Listen up, everyone. If you're tuning in right now, feel free, of course, to like or love our stream here. We're going live. This is the Project 5000 campaign, and I'm so excited to be before each and every one of you on tonight. It's an honor, it's a privilege, all that good stuff. You know, we're just going to have some informal chat about something very, very important as well. So again, everyone, go ahead and like or love the stream. Go ahead and host your own watch parties. We appreciate the time, the attention that you're giving us at this particular time. We are going to be here for probably about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes or so. We're not going to take up a whole lot of your time, but we have something very special to deliver to you on tonight. So again, my name is Lakeisha McKnight, and I'm just a wealth mentor, just trying to sow into your lives and show by example some things that you can do so that you can leave generational wealth for your family and for generations to come. So again, welcome to everyone on social media, Facebook, wherever it is that you're sharing this right now. So thank you so very much. So we're here for the Project 5000 campaign. It's a special campaign. It started on May the 20th, and the whole purpose of this campaign really is to equip 5,000 leaders with a wealth roadmap to achieve their first $1 million, okay? Their first $1 million. This is a big deal, a huge deal. And so if you've never made $1 million, maybe multi-million dollars, you know, just through, you know, being in business for yourself or just educating yourself about wealth, this is where you want to learn. This is the time where you want to become educated, because things are shifting, things are changing. And so what I'm going to share with you right now, just a couple of pieces of information that's going to educate you just a bit. And then we're going to transition a bit. I'm going to bring someone on. You may see her right now, and I'm about to bring her on and introduce her in just a moment. But here's what I want to share with you. One important quote, of course, by Mr. Warren Buffett. He says this, you know, if you don't learn how to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And I know it's a big question. And you're probably like, Lakeisha, really? You're going to start, you know, the webinar this way? I have to, because I want to get you thinking. Last night, when you went to sleep and then you woke up this morning, did you make money last night when you were sleeping? Did you get a notification via email, via your phone saying, okay, you know, you have a sale? If that didn't happen for you, or maybe at the pace that you were looking for, that can give you that financial or that time freedom, this is the webinar. This is the stream that you're going to want to listen into. It's very important, because you're going to have passive bills that come in month after month, and in some cases, week after week. And so you want to put yourself in position to educate yourself about options so that you can achieve that financial and time freedom. All right? Because here's the thing, real quick. There are 3 types of money, and you're going to be educated on this tonight too. And we're going to go over this in a little bit of detail. 3 types of money, but we understand, of course, one that we're most familiar with, and that's this green stuff, you know, this paper with the fancy little design on it. We're familiar with that. But how about the 2 others? And we're going to share information about that on tonight. So stay tuned, because one thing that we need to learn as a people is understanding that in order to build wealth, in order to leverage our time and not burn ourselves out and not work until we die, we want to make sure we leverage other people or resources so that we can put those things to work. So now, with that being said, and with information about this Project 5000 campaign, I'm going to bring on someone very special, a leader in and of her own right. She's a speaker. She does some amazing things. You all need to go and check her out on Facebook as well. And as a matter of fact, you know, that is the platform by which we learned and that we connected with one another. And so I'm going to be bringing her on, and she's going to share a little bit about her journey. She's going to talk about her before, where she is right now, and where she is intending to go. She's about to do some amazing things. So don't sleep on her. Don't sleep. Make sure you connect too. I'm going to show you how to connect with her towards the end. So I'm going to welcome you to this platform, Miss Chamar Logan. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. So go ahead, speak to the people, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your journey.
Okay. So I guess where it's really important for me to start is I heard you mention as a people, it's really important that we understand the different ways of bringing in money and how money really works, right? And that is so close to my heart because you're not looking at a woman who is born into wealth. You know, funny thing is, and I think that as a people, we're so used to this, it looked like I was, we did a great job at making it look as such. I never had any indication that we were incredibly poor, but I knew we weren't rich. And because of that, because we maintained this status of we're not poor, but we're not rich, but we're okay, I didn't really have a great idea about how money worked. I saw credit cards, I saw the system, I saw my mom cut up her credit cards. Later on, I learned after cutting up a few of my own, that she had gotten herself into a couple of holes, as we all do. But that's really important because no one sat down with me and talked with me about money and about finances. I mean, I had the conversation of pay your bills, work to pay your bills, but there was no multiple streams of income. There was no talk about credit whatsoever. I learned about credit. I was like, oh wait, I can get stuff and not have to pay for it right now. Not realizing that later on, I would eventually have to pay for it one way or the other, right? So with that being said, finances for myself, and I think for a lot of us, especially in the Black community, was very trial and error. It was very much oh my God, I can't ever be in this position again. It's so close to me. It's so dear to my heart that we learn about finances and that I teach my daughter, who is 16 and has an amazing view on saving. Her bank account was even surprised me because she knows how to save, because we have those conversations, right? She knows about credit because we have those conversations, because my goal is to make her generation, as we talk about generational wealth, make it easier for her. And I want her to see my mistakes. So this conversation about finances, we shy away from it. And it's okay until you can't pay your bills. It's okay until you can't take care of your children. It's okay until, you face the possibility of passing and you wonder what's going to be left behind for my child. What kind of a legacy outside of a good name is going to be left for my child? I need her because she can't live off of my good name. She's going to have her own purpose. So I need her to have more than just a good name to start out in the world. So that's why I've become very passionate about money. I've gone from being afraid to talk about it to being afraid to deal with it to, especially after my divorce, I had no choice but to learn how to deal with it and learn how to tackle this issue of money. To now being at the point where I need to learn everything. I want to learn everything and what are the different systems that I can use, because as an entrepreneur, I'm working around the clock.
Right.
I'm almost 40. I would like to get to the point in my older years where I'm not having to do that as much. And I understand now that it's going to come through different ways and different means that we don't always talk about within our communities.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Powerful. And a lot of what you said is definitely true because, when I was coming up, there was really not a whole lot of talk. All I saw was swipe.
Right.
The use of the credit card swipe. Or, we had, I would say we were we weren't, again, like you, we weren't extremely poor, but we weren't like part of the top elite, of the rich either. So it was more or less, we had what we need, and then we had abundance. And we know, of course, that was because of we stuck together as a family. We stuck together as when we supported one another. And of course, times have changed too. We know that the prices of goods and services is no longer the same now. With the prices raising the roof. Yeah.
Right. It's so high.
Yes.
And, and for anybody watching this, we have to be there's a lot that we have to be really honest about, right? And it's not to scare you into anything. It's not to scare you into really anything. But the honest part about this is this. About 8 years ago, I was homeless with my daughter. I was coming out of divorce and we had no money and we had gotten evicted. And so I lived in this very cheap hotel room here in Hartford, Connecticut. It was about $50 a night, trying to finish up a degree. She had absolutely no clothes. I remember washing her uniform in the sink. And I always talk about this when I'm talking about, my journey with my businesses and whatnot and why I go so hard for women. I didn't really know how to pay a bill. My credit was trash, and I had no clue that my credit was trash until I tried to get an apartment. And so in that moment, it was just like, okay, this is real life. I don't want to talk about money. I didn't like talking about money, but for that reason, I'm now virtually homeless with a child. And that's not, it just wasn't okay. So, it's not we hear stories like this and, it's easy to think, oh, they're trying to scare us into talking about it. Kind of, sort of, but not in a way of anything that's going to benefit me. It's so you don't end up in that position. You know what I mean? Right. And then to build out these companies and to be very successful as a speaker. And I've had a lot of great successes as an entrepreneur, and my purpose in helping women do something like this, rebuild their lives, right? After starting over. And then I hit another wall actually just at the very beginning of this year. Very transparent. There was no income coming in for 2 months because my business hit a low. So, we can have, what do you do when the revenue stream that is making you money hits a low, as it tends to do in its business? It is business. Every business is going to hit a low. What is your backup plan? And at that point, I thought, I'm never, ever, I cannot go back to where I was 8 years ago. I'm going to work my butt off and get out of this. However, I've been working my butt off. What am I going to have in place when my business hits a low or when things hit a low that can be another backup? So I'm not in this position again. And those are questions that we have to sit down and take real stock of and ask ourselves that. I thank God daily, who has been my source and my provider, but I fully believe that God blesses the work of your hands, which is very biblical, right? So as I'm going in and as I'm working, as I'm pulling different contracts together, I have been blessed. I was blessed to pull together a large contract, like a $22,000 contract. Okay, great. First thing I thought was, let's be smart. Let's pay off some past bills. Let's get the credit. Let's make sure the credit is straight. Right. Let's pay off what's current. But then I thought, okay, Chamar, the money could sit in this account, but it's interest bearing, but that's not enough of an interest bearing account, right? So what are you going to do now that you have gotten your bills taken care of? You got smart now. Got you 1 or 2 good credit cards now, right? Took care of the other stuff, okay? So credit score is raising, but what are you going to do now to build on top of what you already have so you're not ever in that position again? And so that's been my new mindset. So, with that being said, the first thing I did was, how can I get around people who are doing this?
Right.
You see these live streams and you can scroll past if you're not mentally ready. But when you're at the point where you're mentally ready to say to yourself, I need to actually build wealth now, you stop on these webinars and you listen to real people who were not born wealthy,
right? Who
had to really work and put their minds to it.
That's right.
To build on what they have and tell you how they're doing it and where they are in their journey. So I can remember I was actually just scrolling through Facebook, and a good friend of mine, Althea, she didn't mention a lot about our wealth building system, Carrot Bars. And she gave me she reached out to me in a DM. And at first I said, oh, I just can't. That's the first thing I said, because, I had done so many different multi-level marketing companies. And the first thing you think is, right, I can't get caught in anything else. I just can't. But what really caught me was, it wasn't just and I need you all to understand the realness, and I need you all to hear the realness in my voice. It wasn't just a MLM, right? That was scammy or anything like that. It really was okay, I'm investing in something. It's like I'm investing in something outside of the dollar, and we know the dollar is dropping. If you don't know, I need y'all to do the dollar's dropping.
Right.
So, I found myself now, it's like, I have this money and now I'm investing in something that is beneficial for my future. So it became, it really was something that was wealth building. instead of me just saying, oh my God, it's just another job. Just something else I gotta manage.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So when we have these journeys, I think it's really important to be honest about where you are.
Yes.
Be really honest about where you want to be, and be strategic about how you want to get there.
That's good. Wow. Now let me help you all understand something about what she just said. And of course, I got wind that somebody said my audio is low, so excuse me, everyone. We had some storms going on that was trying to crash the party, but look, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We are here. And so here's what I do want to say. And I'm going to try to speak as loud as I can so that you can try to hear me. The whole point of the matter is that when you come across information or an opportunity, it can be very easy to say, no, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to give it any time, any play, anything. No, it's not for me. And like many of us, we've been thrown many things, inbox many things on Facebook or people that we know. But here's the thing, you need to look at the person who is sharing the information with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that person is a credible person or a person of influence, they're not just going to send you or give you anything.
Right.
And that's how I look at it, because even for myself, people know I'm quick to say nope, not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's easy to try to say yes. Let me just, so you don't hurt anybody's feelings because you're just trying to be mindful. But at the same time, you don't want to entertain too much because, again, a scatterbrain gets nothing done.
Right.
You really have to be focused. And we're not saying that you might not have had something before you came across, a wealth building opportunity. Still do what you do, walk in your purpose, but at the same time, there's a place and a season for everything.
Right.
And if there's something that comes across your way that can help fund your dreams without putting you into debt, that's something you might want to look at.
Right, right. And I can, and, and honestly, being with, having met you, having met our group that we're all a part of, and if I had to be very, very transparent, when I got into, one of the things that I loved about when I got into Carrot Bars, it wasn't there. When I say that, it was a wealth building opportunity, because not only I have been in some organizations where I've had to pay monthly just to stay in. That's taking money out of my pocket. Like, that's not helping me build anything. With this, I was able to really take my time and get involved into it. I was able to set up a free account and really watch and learn first, and then as I watched and learned, I said, okay, this is something I want to invest in.
Right.
So you mean to tell me that my investment is not as high as I thought it was going to be. However, this is always a kicker to me. If I can get more than what I'm giving, I'm in there, right?
Yeah.
But I'm investing into my package. So now I'm investing in gold. So now I have I'm a gold investor, right? But I'm also within this group of people who are like-minded, who want to build wealth. And I'm being taught how to build wealth. I'm being taught how to make this grow. I'm being taught what avenues I can go down. I'm being given resources, wealth building resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, that's what's so different about what it is that we do, right? So when you all are getting into these wealth building opportunities, I really encourage you to look into something that's going to pour into you. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are in this moment. Right. There are daily messages and daily links. I mean, I think I get about 5 links a day about different courses that I can go into, different ways I can learn how to build on what I already have and build on my investment. So make sure you're getting into something that's going to really pour into you and actually teach you how to build on this wealth, especially if you don't have the background for money. You don't have that background for wealth. You have to learn how to do it, and you have to learn how to shift your mindset. And that's what I can really appreciate about what it is that we do.
That's good. And one thing, of course, that you said that's key is the whole learning bit. You really have to understand and put on that brain, that mindset that every day you should be a student. I call myself a professional student. Mm-hmm. People say, oh, we're out of school, we're done. No, you never stop learning.
Right.
As a matter of fact, professional professional and personal development needs to be something you do every day. So
Mm-hmm.
you should be going to school every day,
Right.
right? And when we're plugged into the system, you get training, you get mentorship for free. Like we can call up people who are very wealthy, very smart, have been doing this for years, and they don't have a problem with you calling them. You
Right.
reach out to them. And here's the other point that I want to make, everyone. When it comes to this wealth building system, what we're simply doing is exchanging a declining paper dollar. This is $5, as you can see, right? Declining paper dollar. This is the government's money. This is what we call a Federal Reserve note.
Mm-hmm.
Whose note is it? It's not Lakeisha's note. It's not Chamar's note.
Right.
It is the Federal Reserve's note. That's the way it should have said. That's the way it should have been written on there. Federal Reserve's note, right? Because it's their note. All right. And we're just doing an exchange. You exchanging, of course, the government's money that got the pretty ink on it, right? For an asset. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Divine exchange here. Very simple. And as a matter of fact, of course, this is 1/10 of a gram of cash gold. You can be someone who owns gold that cannot be taxed. Number
Right.
one, gold outpaces inflation. You know, the rising of the prices of goods and services as compared to the declining value of this, it can outpace it. So here's what happens. You got this paper. This is what happens when you do this. I don't mean to ball it up like that, but this is a visual.
Right.
A visual. What happens is the gold protects what you worked so hard for. You worked so hard for it, protect it. This here, let me just give you, this dollar is really only worth about 3 cents right now.
Right.
It has lost about 97, 98% of its original value. So when you're thinking you're walking around with the dollar, you're really walking around with about 3 cents. Okay. So, but when you're walking around with this, guess what? This cash gold with 24 karat, 999.9 pure bullion gold embedded in the middle, you're walking around with an asset that increases in value, building generational wealth. Okay. So you have to understand the difference. All right. Liability, asset. Spend this, build wealth with this. Or, of course, this, okay? So the difference, this is classic, this is cash, gold. Both of these are gold, all right? Now, of course, this is the same gold that countries use to settle debts with, the same gold, 24 karat. And so you want to make sure that you get your hands on gold because right now there are approximately 16 states in this country that uses gold as money. So I think it's important for you to get your hands on gold, okay? And the reason being is you want to protect your family's wealth. You want to exchange. I wouldn't necessarily, as far as terminology to help you to understand, you're saving in gold. You're obtaining the gold. You're exchanging, all right? Exchanging to protect your family's wealth. That's what you're doing, all right? So again, so when you came in contact with this wealth building system and you started taking action, what type of results, Chamar, did you begin to see or notice intrinsically within yourself?
Right.
And then did you begin to notice something immediately as far as your net worth is concerned?
So here's the thing. Immediately, once I got into the system, immediately there were trainings like out the gate. Immediately, like it was just like it was. The first thing I noticed was it was not, hey, what can we get from you? It was, what can we give to you that made me want to invest? So I learned about investing. I learned about the price of gold. I learned about how quickly the dollar was declining. I learned everything you just said. I learned within the very first week of me becoming part of the wealth building system. So that was the first thing. So intrinsically, your mind begins to open up on different ways to not only create money, but to have different assets. And it caused me, and I started doing a lot of research about, people that are wealthy and people that are billionaires. It's beyond just the cash dollar. You
Right.
know, assets are included, investments are included.
Yes.
You know, that's why we see wealthy. If wealthy had, if it was just the dollar, then that would be it. But you ask somebody, so for if you're watching, let's make it very very relevant to you all. Let's connect it.
Right.
We all celebrated Jay-Z last week or 2 weeks ago. Okay. First, you know, rapper become a billionaire from the Marcy Project. We all celebrated it. I was reading into, you know, what led him to that path of being a billionaire. Okay. First things first, if you think you don't have to learn and take your time with this and be consistent, already the mindset is there. And I learned that with this system, it takes consistency and work and learning. So it wasn't just the money that they counted into him being a billionaire. It was the money. It was the money. It was his investments. It was his assets. Things that he owned that were not just cash dollar.
Yes.
That added into that. And it was very, I mean, there were various assets. He had assets that I was like, Jason, you did that for real? So you have to, so I began to learn that, you know, you have to start thinking outside of what can my business bring in? It can bring in money to pay the monthly bills, but what more can I do? And I learned that there really is a system that we're not talking about and that we're not teaching that will help you begin to save in something other than the American dollar.
Wow. That's good.
And once you learn that, the amount of doors that begin to open up for you, because then you look at everything. You start to be really careful with your money. So if I'm spending money on something and it's not going to earn me, it's not going to grow,
right,
then I don't need to spend my money on it.
Right.
You know, so there are certain things that I have around my house. You know, I remember a couple of weeks ago, I purchased my first piece of art. And at first, before this wealth building system, I didn't think about art being a wealth building thing. But if you purchase the right kind, it increases in value. So I started to look at, what do I have that will increase in value?
Right.
And before I joined the wealth building system, there wasn't really anything I had that would increase in value. I mean, money was there, yeah, but what's going to increase? So being a part of the system helped me look for different things that are going to increase in value once I own it. Once I own it. That's a key. I think that was a really key part that you talked about. The money that we have into our account, yes, to take care of the bills, sure. But again, that's the Federal Reserve's money. You know, when we talk about tax return season and the money is blown, I'm like, A, you're not blowing anything that's given to you for free. You're blowing what you already worked for. And B, do y'all realize that basically they took more than what they were supposed to, which is why you're getting it back.
They're using your money.
Yes. which is why at the end of the year they're saying, hey, we'll give it back to you because we took $10,000 extra dollars throughout the year. Well, we'll give it back to you. Now we used $10,000 extra dollars of you. Imagine that. Every American that's given $10,000 back because the government took $10,000 extra. Yeah. So once you start thinking of that, it was just like your mind begins to open up to the game, into the system. And you have to be able to get yourself into something that you own, that is yours, that's protected for when that dollar fails.
Yes. And so that's good. So we talked about what? We talked about the government's money, right? Of course, the Federal Reserve's money. Let me just put it that way. The Federal Reserve's money. And then we spoke about what? God's money, right? We spoke about that. Of course, the two different versions here. But there's also a third type of money. Now, I know many people heard about this money, and we're not going to talk about the grandfather of them all that starts with a B. We're not going to talk about that. And so we call this the people's money, which is cryptocurrency. Now, Chamar, how knowledgeable really were you about cryptocurrency before coming in contact with this wealth building system?
So honestly, cryptocurrency is still very new to me. I heard about cryptocurrency. This is okay. This is what I also like about this system. Okay. So I've heard about cryptocurrency before. I have been invited to do many cryptocurrency programs that would have required me to pay $200 a month to do. Once again, you're taking money from me that I actually need. So with this system, I came in one-time initial investment, and not only am I learning about gold, not only am I learning about assets, but now you're opening me up to cryptocurrency, and you're teaching me about cryptocurrency. So I'm still in the process of learning about it.
Yeah.
But the difference is, the reason why I could be confident in saying that is because I'm a part of a program that's teaching me about cryptocurrency. It's added into this. It's not just say, hey, you pay for this, here you go, now you're left on your own.
Right.
It's like, now you have to go, so now let's teach you about cryptocurrency and how to use it and what to do with it. So it's still a very new program for me, but what I love about it is I can tell you all that it's new for me, and I'm still learning about it because I am in a system that's teaching me.
That's good. See, I mean, and that's the whole point. The whole point of the matter is that you have this opportunity to learn and earn at the same time. And we didn't even get into that. We didn't even get into that portion yet. You know, you plug in and you're building personal wealth, right? You know, you have the opportunity to get gold. You have the opportunity to get cryptocurrency, by the way, that's backed by a physical asset. None like any other cryptocurrencies out there, not backed by a physical asset at all, right? But we have actual physical gold backing our coin. But with just considering the fact that you have this opportunity to learn, to earn, and to do this gradually along the way at your own pace. But at the same time, you can be earning, of course, the paper dollars too, because again, you have to spend it to pay your bills too.
Right.
And so when you learned about that, I mean, what made you or what encouraged you not only to plug into the system, but to also want to position yourself to possibly get paid 5 times a month? What encouraged you to take that step?
Honestly, getting paid 5 times a month. Like I'm just saying, you know, I am being as honest as I possibly can. I can give you some really deep quote,
right?
But the reality is, listen, I once heard somebody say on a panel, she was part of an entrepreneur panel, and everyone gave these really deep reasons about their passion, and she said, "My passion is getting paid."
Right.
And that was the realest thing I heard anyone say. My passion is getting paid. Okay. The reality is, I just had a talk with someone today about this over lunch. Bills need to be paid.
Right.
I want to enjoy this life. I do not want to stress. And what is the number one cause of most of our stress? It's money. And how we're going to pay our bills, and how we're going to build our wealth. Right. What will I have in case an emergency happens? Right. What will happen to my kids in case I pass on? That's the number one cause. And what is the number one stress for a lot of marriages? Money. You know, and I'm single right now, and I would like to get remarried. And when I get remarried, I don't want money to be a factor. I don't want money to be a stressor, you know? And then, you know, when you merge things all the way, it's going to be a stressor, but I don't want it to be a major stressor. Right. So that's what encouraged me to invest in it and get started, because I want to make sure, if I'm going to be stressed about other things in life, there are many other things to be stressed about. I do not want to worry about if my child is going to be okay when I pass. Right. So let's make it current. If my child needs something and it needs an emergency, she has an emergency, I want to know that I'm going to have the income from somewhere or somewheres to take care of her. Yes. And that's the encouragement. So I guess you could say there's a deeper why, but really, who does not want to get paid 5 times a month? You know, you hear things like, are you saving for 6 months down the line? That is scary to think about. That's scary to think about, that I don't have, and I have been there, right? I did not have a saving 6 months down the line. Mm-hmm. And I ended up laid off from my job just last year. So I'm almost a year in entrepreneurship, full-time at least. Right? And I can remember when I was laid off, I didn't have 6 months saved. I had to figure this out as I went along, making sure I paid that rent every month. Getting whatever financial help I can get from the state, if I could get the help. That's an exhausting way to live. Yes. Like, I need you all to hear me about it. That's an exhausting way to live. If you have to do it, fine, you have to do it. I did it. But it's exhausting because you don't know when you're going to exhaust your benefits. You don't know when things are going to run out. You don't know if you will get the benefits at a certain time. Get yourself into a system. I need to be able to have myself in a system to where I know what's coming in, right? Because I'm invested in it. I'm learning from it. I'm a part of it. So I know when I saw that, and not only when I saw it, but when I saw the benefits of it and I started reaping the benefits of it, it was just like, okay, I think I sent in $150 for one of my packages. That was it. Like, do y'all hear that? Like, that was it. Other systems were requiring 200 per month.
Right.
100 per month. Like, I made the investment and that was it. But I'm learning about cryptocurrency. I'm learning about building on this wealth. Right. I have access to millionaires. I have access to billionaires. Are you serious?
Right.
And now you're telling me that that just by putting in this little bit of work, there's a 5 times a month payout? Okay. Yeah.
It was a no-brainer. It was just like,
it was a no-brainer. I'm a big believer in hard work and a strong work ethic. I really am. I really do not believe in get rich quick schemes. I really do not. Mm-hmm. And this is not, and I really do not believe that you just throw it out there. And I don't want you to think it's a magical thing. You actually said it one time in a group, in the group chat. Yeah. The only way to not earn from this is to do nothing. And that resonated with me. So I was like, okay, if I get in there, if I learn, if I do something, I can earn that. And that's the biggest takeaway from this. The only way to not get anything out of this is if you do nothing and just sit there.
Right. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And here's the thing. We want to keep it simple. And we're about to conclude and wrap some things up right now, everybody. The whole point of the matter is that we want to encourage you that now is the time to build wealth. It's really simple. We've come from backgrounds where, we weren't given that silver spoon, but it wasn't always the point where we were dead broke and we're experiencing poverty. Here's the thing. I believe poverty is a mindset, because if we truly were impoverished, we would not have made this decision today.
Right.
Say, okay, let's plug into the system. So poverty is not ours. The word can is not ours. The word trying is not in our vocabulary. Listen, to try means that, okay, I'm going to allow a little bit of space for failure to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give failure any room. Don't give it the time of day. Don't give yourself the opportunity to let this opportunity pass you by.
Right.
All right. We've all been where everyone starts. And how does everyone start? You simply request for information. You ask. So you seek, you ask, you knock. And the door shall be opened unto you. Okay? And so if you believe that wealth is your birthright, if you believe that you should be a part of this wealth transfer that is about to happen, and you don't want to miss the opportunity to be a part, we encourage you, reach out, contact Chamar, okay? Whoever is sharing this video with you, contact them.
Right.
They may be plugged into this roadmap, this wealth building system. Contact us and we will give you the information that you need. And again, I apologize if you can't hear me clearly, because this weather out here just kind of messed up this whole system. But but we're good. We're good. If you have questions about anything that we share tonight, we'll be more than happy to explain the information, to repeat information to you, to plug you in. Because I don't know if we made it clear tonight, but plugging into this wealth building system is free. I don't know how plain we're gonna make it. What were you gonna say, Chamar?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, and I can say that if anyone's watching on my end, if you know me, you know that I am particular about my coins and where they go. Yes. I am quite particular, okay? So I don't just put them anywhere. So the fact of the matter is, when I got into the system, yes, it is free to plug into this. Mm-hmm. It's free to plug in. You're gonna get some basics. You're gonna get some basic knowledge. That basic knowledge was so good that I wanted more.
That's it.
And I needed more.
That's it.
And then to find out that it was my one time, my investment one time, not per month, one time.
One time.
And you said door would be open. As you said, I was like, shoot, doors up, plural. Right.
Yes.
Are opened.
Yes.
And I can be passionate enough to say that with you all. We have to get to the point where we start thinking outside of the box.
I just had that visual just now. Like, how you go up to a door and you knock,
Yeah.
Right? You open up the one door and then you see like 5, 6 other doors.
That's
Like,
this system. That is this system. I spent hours on the website with my book, with my little notebook, just learning and writing and growing. And I'm like, oh my God, that's available and that's available. Doors are open, not just one, but many.
wow. Perfect. Perfect. Listen up. Chamar, how can people reach out to you if they wanted to connect with you a little bit deeper and just learn more about you, your journey, or maybe even plugging into the system through you? I know we're going to also make sure that this information is on YouTube, everyone. So we'll let you know where you'll be able to find. As a matter of fact, leadershiptkotv.com. That's the URL, by the way. But how would people be able to contact you and connect with you if they wanted to reach out?
If you want to know more, you want to have a conversation with me, I'm very, very open to it. I love this system. Please just send me a message. Let me know, hey sis, I want know a little bit more. I am more than welcome, more than ready to sit down and speak with you and just build that relationship with you, because I know that money is so personal. It is a relationship first. And this system is also about building wealth, but it is about building relationships as well.
Good.
So please send me a message and be as transparent as possible. I'm okay with it. Be as honest as possible, because that's how I would be about my money as well. When I first got into it, I was like, Althea, let me talk to the person that's above you. Like who the head? You know? And Lakeisha very graciously got on a video conference with me because I need to see faces, and talked with me. So please send me a message on Facebook Messenger. Chamar Logan is the name, and we can go from there.
Perfect. Perfect. Everyone, so we thank you so very much for being here with us. We're just having casual conversation, right? About wealth building, about what it is that we want to leave for our families. And not just that, just talking about the journey, giving you an opportunity to see where we've been, how we plugged into this amazing resource, and then how it's transforming our mindset and ultimately our lives, and how the door is now open for you to get plugged in. It's just that simple.
Right.
So thank you so much for plugging in, everyone. We're definitely going to seek to come back here next Monday with yet another leader on the platform. So be blessed, everyone. Take care. God bless. And hopefully we'll see you on the island when we be there, of course, because of this amazing system. So God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
God bless. Take care.